Texoma here. Now, apologize if things seem a little weird here. I'm actually filming this episode first, but it's actually going to be the last episode of my 12 Days of Trekmas. By now, of course, y'all have been watching this in order, so you're familiar with what I'm doing, what the focus of the little mini-series, I guess you would say, is, and I think I have saved the best for last. Today, for the final day of Trekmas, I am going to be going over a few Hallmark ornaments. Again, you know, the whole thing has been Hallmark ornaments, or will be when I film it, because I'm filming the others later and the last one now and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm sure y'all have noticed the theme. I've tried to stay in period accurate uniform, so this should give y'all a little clue as to what's today's episode. Also, this is my uniform that was made for me years ago when I first started in the Star Trek fan films with the production of Starship Republic. And at that time, all we got to do was film a little 15-minute-ish teaser called Serpent of Yesterday. Check it out if you can. I'll try and remember to leave a link to it down below. But let me just dive right in, I guess, into today's episode on this 12th day of Trekmas. Today's ship in the Hallmark series is a very iconic ship. We all know it. We've all seen it for 50 plus years. Yes, there have been refits along the way. There have been upgrades and reimaginings and so on and so forth. But today's Hallmark ornament ship is the original Enterprise. Now, since this is the first episode that I'm filming, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm taking all of the ships that I feature each day out of the box already, so I don't have to sit there and fiddle with the box while the episode is running, and y'all get bored and like, oh, you're messing with the box. No. So, we have here the 40th anniversary USS Enterprise, captained by James T. Kirk. Hallmark ornament. Now, you call them Christmas ornaments, you call them holiday ornaments, doesn't matter. They're cool. And I have collected these almost since the beginning. I didn't find out about these ornaments until 1992 with the release of the original series shuttlecraft Galileo. I unfortunately missed out on the original pressing, or original release, whatever you want to call it, sculpt of this Enterprise that came out in 1991. It's a very, very pricey ship to find on the secondary market. It was made in so few numbers because Hallmark didn't know if this would sell or not. So, secondary market, it just skyrocketed after it first came out. And it's very pricey, very difficult to find at a reasonable cost. So, they've re-released the Enterprise. You know, it's not exactly the same as the original release, but it is pretty darn close. It is pretty darn cool. This one comes with the display base here, and the display base plugs into the ship to make the lights come on and everything like that while it plays music. And I'm going to try to get it to play for y'all right now, or here in a moment. But there is the Enterprise. Very cool, very nicely detailed ship. Or, well, maybe I should turn it that way so it's a little bit more readable. You can see it's got the registry on the bottom of the saucer there. You got your Starfleet racing stripes, as I call them. It's kind of difficult to see. I'm not sure if y'all can, but it's got the 40th anniversary logo right there. I'm going to see if these batteries will work that I put in, so it'll play music. There we go. And that's the extent of what it does. I think it's pretty cool. Little desktop model if you don't necessarily have a Christmas tree or other holiday decorations that you have. You can, if you find this one, you can always just have it sitting on your desktop or, you know, someplace to display it. I think you might be able to unscrew the little ornament hook there. If not, I mean, it's still, you know, sitting on your desk, it's gonna look pretty darn cool, even with that little hanger there. But yeah, that's the 40th anniversary Enterprise. Now, this video isn't finishing there. Again, I talked about how Hallmark didn't really plan on the original 1991 Ornament being so popular and the demand for it and everything like that. So what they did before the 40th anniversary, and I'm not 100% sure that there wasn't another re-release in between the 40th and this one. There may have been, I'm not 100% sure, because my main focus in the Hallmark ornaments was just the regular yearly ornament that they were doing from 1991 all the way up to 2019. Then they took a year off, did that big, huge Enterprise tree topper, and then came back in 2021 with the La Sirena, the ship owned by Captain Rios in Star Trek Picard. So I'm really interested in seeing what they do for 2022. If they'll do the Protostar from Prodigy, if they'll do the Cerritos from Lower Decks, if they'll go back in the past and dig something else up. Guess we'll just have to sit back and wait. But what they did for the 30th anniversary is they actually released, again, the original Starship Enterprise, this time done up in silver, and it comes with a little miniature shuttlecraft. It also comes with a base. I don't really like the design on this base because what they did is it's a plastic sound base just like this one, or just similar to this one. They made it in the shape of course, the Starfleet Delta, as we all have gotten used to calling it. But to hang the Enterprise onto the base, it's just like a little metal rod. To me, that seems kind of flimsy, especially when we're talking about this is the actual ship. And this is actually pretty darn heavy because it's made of metal. It does have, you know, the clear bussard collectors, but everything else on this ship is entirely metal. It is quite heavy as far as ornaments are concerned. But again, it is fairly nicely detailed. I've never taken the shuttlecraft out of its package. I've always left it in there because it comes with a little metal post so the shuttlecraft pins into the display stand. But again, that is a little metal Galileo shuttlecraft. I don't know if you can see the registry on there, but it's on there. It's nicely detailed. It's got some nice detailing on the front there too. But like I say, this is a very heavy ship. Very cool. The other issue that I have with this particular ship is not really the ship, it's actually the font they chose for that registry. That is not the classic registry font that fits the ship so much better. Now, I'm sure they had reasons for that. I'm sure it might have something to do with, you know, this one being a little bit thinner. And, sorry, I set it off. This one's a little bit thinner, as you can see, compared to that. So it might not have shown up as well on the darker metal and the shinier metal as it does on, you know, like a dull matte plastic. But again, very cool, very awesome representation of the original Enterprise for those of us who couldn't get the original Ornament back in 1991 and who are priced out of the market on it because, like I said, after it first came out in 92 on the secondary market, it was going for, if I remember correctly, at least $100, if not $200 at that time. And it had steadily increased. I think now it is more or less plateaued out in the $350 to $500 range. I haven't priced it in a while, so please don't take my numbers as gospel, what I'm saying. But for the average collector, it is completely out of league. Alright, well, this next one is actually the Enterprise, but it's a slightly different Enterprise. Still based on the original series, on Kirk's Enterprise. But back in, let me see if I can find the year on this. Back in 1999, or possibly 98, the U.S. Post Office actually released a Star Trek stamp featuring the Enterprise. And that year, Hallmark did a special ornament authorized by both Paramount and the Post Office showcasing that Enterprise stamp. I know it might be a little difficult to see due to the reflection, but there is a recreation of the stamp with the Enterprise back when regular first class mail stamps were 33 cents. You can see the Star Trek logo up in the metal around the stamp, and it's pretty darn cool. I mean, there's not much to see to it other than this. That's why I didn't bother taking this one out of the package, because what you see here is the ornament. I mean, there's nothing on the back, so it's not like the ship where it's a 3D representation and you get to see all the different cool intricacies and details that they sculpted into it or anything. This is it. But again, pretty darn cool representation of that original Enterprise. Normally, this is where the video would end. But, as luck would have it, about 3 to 4 years ago, I believe, I was actually in the right place at the right time. Well, I guess in the right place isn't necessarily true because it was online, so I happened to be very fortunate and catch something very, very fortuitous on eBay. And I'm sure some of y'all have already figured out what I'm talking about. This was the grail of my collection ever since I found out in '92 that it existed. I actually was able to score. Yes, I'm being dramatic, but I did have to cough. Excuse me for a moment. I need to get something to drink. Excuse me. Sorry. I apologize for that, folks. But yes, I am a real person, and, you know, sometimes you get a little choked up, you get a little tickle in your throat, and you have to take care of that. Anyhow, back to the story. I was talking in some Star Trek groups about the fact how I had collected every one of the ships, or every one of the regular retail releases of the ships that Hallmark has made for their Ornament series since '92. I've gotten every single one of the regular ones that you can find in a Hallmark store. But that '91 Enterprise always eluded me. I just happened to luck into someone telling me about an eBay listing for the original 1991 25th anniversary original series Enterprise Ornament. I was completely floored when I saw the price and the fact it had buy it now on it. This cost me I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but this only cost me $50 shipped, when every other one that I had seen, like I said, the cheapest one I had seen up until that point was about $350. And I pulled the trigger on it, and about a week later, I had it in my mailbox, and I was completely ecstatic. The box, you know, it's pretty decent condition for its age. 1991, I mean, we're in 2021, so, 30-year-old box here. Not too bad. And I opened it up, and there is the original 1991 first Hallmark Star Trek Ornament. Now back then, they had the little pigtail where you just pull out one of your Christmas lights or holiday lights and plug this end into it. I don't have any of those lights, so unfortunately I've never been able to test it to see if it actually lights up or anything like that, but just having this ship in my collection is amazing. Similar to the other plastic one on the base, the buzzard collectors, had a brain fart for a second, on the engine tips do light up. The top bridge and the bottom, I guess it's a navigational beacon, do light up. But unlike that one, it also has these series of lights that go around the front of the saucer section and to the side that are supposed to light up. Again, one of these days I'm sure I'll get a string of lights to test it out and see. I just have to find one and the money and all that. Again, it's got the original markings for the registry on there. Got your 1701 there on the warp nacelles with what I call the little Starfleet racing stripes. And the cool thing about this that you can actually see, this is a legit one right there at the end of the Starfleet racing stripe. Kind of not focusing that well, but I'm sure you can make it out. It says it's got the year 1991 on it. Having this ship to complete my regular retail editions of these ships is amazing. This is very, in my opinion, unique, very awesome. The beginning of a tradition. And for comparison, here it is next to the 30th anniversary Enterprise, the metal one. Now, on these two, it's very apparent to me that this is a direct copy of this one. They took the plastic mold, of course, modified it because the metal one does not have that bump with the little pigtail for the lighting. The metal one does not have lighting in it, but this is the exact same mold of ship. They just, instead of being in plastic, 5 years later they released it in metal. This one, however, you can see it's slightly different. The saucer is a little bit thinner. The bumps on the nacelles on the original is smaller. It's bigger on the other one. Again, also the shuttle bay on the original. And I hit the button again. The shuttle bay on the original is different sized and shaped than on the 40th anniversary. You can see right there the neck from the saucer to the secondary hull is slightly different than on the 40th anniversary. Still, both ships, freaking awesome. All three of them, freaking awesome. But, unfortunately, this is the end of the line for those who are viewing this in the proper order. You know, of course, again, I'm filming this in backward order, so for y'all watching, this is the end of the line. For me filming, this is just the beginning of the line. I hope y'all have enjoyed the 12 Days of Trekmas. Again, the best of the holidays to y'all. You know, it doesn't matter what you celebrate, or if you don't even celebrate. Just think about family, think about friends during this time of year. Try to do something good for somebody else. You know, whether it's buying a homeless person a meal, donating to, you know, many of the food drives that are, I'm sure, going on, the coat and jacket drives. I know in my area there's quite a few of those that happen every winter or fall. They start in the fall and do their distributions in the winter. You know, just think of others. I know it's not always easy, but try to find one good thing a day, no matter how small it is. And hold on to that. You know, if we all tried to have one good thing a day that we found that we're like, hey, this is freaking awesome, or tried to help one person a day, the world would be so much better off. You know, we wouldn't have all this division and hatred and garbage. Enough of me ranting. I've spent a lot of your time already. Y'all, have fun. Be cool. As Vance would say, keep on geeking on. Enjoy the holidays. This is Nerd in Texoma, signing off, and I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.